when you had that breakout year, was it 97 at Just for Laughs?
Yeah, it was in the 90s when nothing was happening for
Yeah.
anybody.
And then it just like went for you. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's no rules, man. You never
What
know,
did like was there what was going through your head before like that performance?
Well,
Were you
what?
just focused on
Nothing.
the
I just didn't
material?
know. I didn't know that. Like, I knew that I was killing when I was traveling for Yuck Yucks on the West Coast
Mm,
thing, and I was getting standing ovations, and then the festival happened,
mm.
and I went out in Montreal at the Saint Denis, and I had the I guess the best set I've ever had in my life because it had the most people were there. That's the only reason why it was the best set. So it was louder, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then that wasn't it though. Then I went back the next year and I did it again.
You started comedy in Ottawa, right?
Yeah, I did. I did. I did.
Wow.
I
Howie
started.
Wagman.
Howie Wagman, I started just after Norm. Remember Norm McDonald?
Yeah. Was that your
Yeah.
class? Like who was your class like coming up
Yeah,
when you
kind. He was a
started?
little ahead. Chris Finn was my class. Remember Chris
Okay.
Finn?
Yeah,
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 that
yeah.
group. That was
Ron
it.
James talks very highly of him, of
Oh,
Chris Finn.
he's a really nice guy, Chris James
Yeah.
Chris Finn. He really is. He's a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
writer.
Wow, that's so cool. Well, this is the show, man. This is it. We're just hanging out. I don't want you to think like it hasn't started. One time I was talking to a comedian on here and we were just chatting or whatever, and he was talking about like pandemic and where he was and stuff. And then I was like, "All right, well, thanks for coming on." He goes, "Oh, I didn't even know that we were going. I thought we were just."
There's a guy that pays attention. I
Yeah.
didn't
He
even
goes, "I
know.
thought we were just chatting." I was like, "You didn't clue into my pointed questions?" Never really had a casual conversation where I was like, "So tell me about your upbringing."
That's really funny.
Well, you're like a
Probably just
staple.
thought you were hitting on him.
Yeah, nowadays you never know, right? Happy Pride, everybody. This will come out in July. Um, none of that'll make sense. When I asked you the question about the one word, did anything like come to mind when I said that?
Yeah, I thought probably miserable.
Miserable. I mean that fits, I guess,
Yeah,
your persona.
that's pretty much what it is. So that's the word for me. But I've turned miserable into a good thing. So that's
Yeah. That's the beauty of comedy, isn't it? To take like every day, like before I even started comedy, I remember my cousin and I would like recite your bits to each other. We would jump right into like your character and just go, and it was like about whatever miserable thing just
yeah.
happened, right? Like my dad would yell at us and we'd be like, well, that sucks.
See? See? I mean,
Yeah.
so once you get the thing, it's just so easy to just do.
Yeah.
And
It's,
yeah.
well, hello, Ma.
There goes my mom. She's 90 today. There we go.
She's up and moving. Happy birthday to
Moving,
Mrs.
and we got a
Hotz.
party to go to right after this, and the whole
Oh,
family's here.
awesome.
It's a big deal. It's a
Yeah, I'm
big
warming
deal.
up your social battery then.
Yeah.
Did this persona for you like start when did you sort of like did you have a moment where you knew like this is it. This is the thing that I gotta like do,
No,
or was it always just like that's
no,
just how it came out and you just went
no.
with it?
I went through different things and different when I was young and started like your age, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I was going through stuff and trying to find what I wanted to do and my voice and the whole thing. And your voice comes with age. That's all it is. People don't understand that. The longer you live, the more you, yeah. And then it isn't really you're talking about the character. It's just I have generalized anxiety disorder, and I didn't even know about the thing until
Uh
other comics went, "Why are you putting your hand in front of your face? You'll never get on TV doing that." And they were wrong.
they were so wrong. Most comics are wrong when they give you
Well,
a
there's no
whenever
rules. That's
No,
why you gotta
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
don't say things like that. You know,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no rule. I've heard don't laugh at your own jokes. Okay, that's the stupidest thing of all time.
Yeah.
There's
Oh my
no
God.
rules.
There's a comedian from Toronto named Jacob Bulshin, and I die laughing at every time that he laughs at one of his own
Well,
jokes.
that's
I
what my
die
crowd
laughing
does.
because
They
he has
do
a
the same.
perfect
Yeah.
laugh,
There's
So
no rules. Stop it. You know
yeah,
what? Everything is funny until it's not.
yeah.
Remember?
There you go.
Yeah.
And until there's no laugh happening, then it's like,
And
okay,
it's
don't
not
do
funny.
that. Don't do
Yeah.
that then.
Don't
Whatever
do
you did,
that.
don't do that.
It's not, comedy is just trial and error. You realize that. It really is.
100%. Yeah.
It's
Do you
throwing shit
remember
at the wall and making it stick.
and then talking about all the shit on the
That's
wall?
right.
Do you remember like one of the first jokes you told that like hit? Like, do you have that in your memory bank of
Yes,
like a
I
prized
do.
gem?
I
What was
do.
it?
It was, I sang this song. Remember the pop? You don't, you're too young, but there was a television commercial that sold a game called Pop-O-Matic Trouble.
Okay, what was
And I
it?
knew the whole song and I would do it on stage and the crowd knew the whole thing too because they used to play and they would say it along with me. That was the first big hit that I ever had.
Wow,
Yeah,
isn't that
yeah,
something?
yeah. That
Because
and the mighty Hercules had the strength of 10 ordinary men. How come 11 guys never got together and beat the shit out of him? That one. It's funny still today if you know the
that's
cartoon because
great.
it was a
Yeah.
terrible cartoon.
Uh,
Uh, hi,
oh
buddy.
man.
Oh, I gotta.
But you like you had early like virality, if you will, before really like these social media stuff like taking off for
Yeah,
people.
I
What
broke out
was
before there was social media. I
yeah,
know.
which is incredible. Like that's definitely something to be proud of, right? Like pat yourself on the back for that because it was such a hard like that. I feel like if you came up in like the 70s and the 80s, it was kind of like a boom of comedy. Like everybody was getting like sitcom deals and like
Yeah,
everything was just getting handed out to you. And then
yeah.
the 90s, it was like
Shit.
tough. It was
The
shit.
90s
Like
was shit.
you were getting 80s pay and
Yeah.
zero opportunities.
The 90s were, yeah, you're really talented, but you're just a comic. That's
Yeah,
what they would do in
yeah.
the 90s. They just
Yeah.
totally trashed us. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But like so when you had that breakout year, was it 97 at Just for Laughs?
Yeah, it was in the 90s when nothing was happening for
Yeah.
anybody.
And then it just like went for you. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's no rules, man. You
What
never know,
did like was there what was going through your head before like that performance?
Well,
Were you
what?
just focused on
Nothing.
the
I just didn't
material?
know. Like I didn't know that. Like I knew that I was killing when I was traveling for Yuck Yucks on the West Coast
Mm,
thing, and I was getting standing ovations, and then the festival happened, and
mm,
I went out in Montreal at the Saint Denis, and I had the I guess the best set I've ever had in my life because it had the most people were there. That's the only reason why it was the best set. So it was louder, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And then that wasn't it though. Then I went back the next year and I did it again. It was the two in a row that got me out of Canada, you know.
Oh, right.
But
Got me out
when
of Canada,
Just
which
for
is the
Laughs would
goal of
help you.
Canadian entertainment to get
Well,
out of Canada.
but you know why that is, right?
Yeah, it's a bigger market. It's like you're talking about 30 million people versus 300 million people. Like
Right.
you could have a career in the tri-state area if you wanted to.
Oh, they people do. There's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
local that they live in New York and they just have a career and that's
3 hours here,
all.
4 hours
Yeah,
here, 5 hours
absolutely.
there. It's
Absolutely.
impossible in Canada to do the road. You're talking about like hours and hours and hours to get to like Chatham, Ontario. And you're like, all right. Like, you know, all
And
these
good crowd. To laugh at Chatham, but when you do go there, it's good crowd.
oh
All
yeah, yeah. That's why people
great
go
people.
there.
You know,
You
they
know what I
are.
mean? They need
That's the
laughs
beauty
too.
of Canada. There's smart people all across it. America, not so much.
Yeah, you gotta kind of pick your places.
Anyway, that's what I feel. I mean, Canada, also, there's no real industry in Canada, so there's no
No.
development, and they don't do
I'm
anything to
Entertainment
help.
Tonight. That's how it shows.
Well,
I filled the void.
but good for you for sitting there and doing that because no
Yeah.
one else is. Have you noticed?
Yeah, yeah. I'm
It's
shocked at
amazing.
the amount of people that want to do this show. And I had Aaron Berg on and he was like, "Well, it's because there's no one else. No one
That's
else is."
amazing to me. That really is. So you keep doing it and you try to make it as predominant as you can because a lot of a lot of the Canadian performers leave Canada because there's nothing left to do.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So what are you going to do? And you know what? When you go back and you see the comedians that didn't leave, they're not happy.
No.
So it's the right thing to do as
Yeah.
well, you know?
And I mean,
But
even just for the experience, right, of working in another country and figuring out the visas and the
yeah,
taxing systems and like and like there's so many people like Jason Rouse, perfect example, goes to like Denmark and he's like huge there. Like
yes.
they love him there. And he
Yeah.
would have never realized that if he didn't leave Hamilton, Ontario and go to like the Netherlands.
Find
And
your audience.
they're out there, like for everybody. There's something. Was there any market for you that like you mentioned the West Coast, but was there any market for you that really you were shocked at like the reaction? Like, wow, these
Yes,
guys
right now it's
really
happening online for me. It's the continent of Africa is going
okay.
crazy. Absolutely. I
Wow.
have a lot of fans in Nairobi, Kenya, South Africa, all over the damn thing. So there
That's
you go.
crazy. Well,
Beautiful.
the Africa Arena tour for Jeremy
Oh,
Hotz is
that's so
coming.
that nothing would give me more joy because I was born in Cape Town and I left
Oh, that's
one.
amazing.
And who knew that there would ever be this?
Yeah.
And I don't, I can't. You know what
Man,
it is
life is
for
funny
me?
like that, eh?
I'll tell you what it is, though. I don't write brand
Period.
specific. I don't write brand specific material. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't like, I don't write about, many things that aren't really universal. So if something's universal, it's an evergreen. It plays all over the world, man.
Yeah. Those are
Best stuff to write.
the
You
best
know?
stuff. The
Yeah,
stuff that is like it lasts forever. The Hercules bit. You could tell that at Yuck Yucks tomorrow and it's gonna get a laugh.
of course.
Like those are evergreen bits where it's like as long as the reference is still somewhat within the cultural zeitgeist, you're gonna be able to get a reaction out of people.
Absolutely. That's
Yeah.
you gotta,
Do you
you
like for your writing, do you find yourself like, are you the person that sits and writes, or do you like to live life a little bit, experience things, and then sort of reflect upon those things as funny stuff comes up or as you process certain things?
I've done this for so long. I used to do what you said. I just, as things happened to me during the day and they just went into the act. Now I've done stand up for so long that I don't really need like material at
Oh,
all
that's the
anymore. So
best.
it doesn't, I could just go out and talk and then it's going to be funny. So,
Yeah.
I do
There's,
that and I go in and out of the act. And that's how I do my 70-minute performances. That's what it is.
I
A
think Bill
little of
Hicks
this,
used
a
to
little
say
of that, a
that.
little of this. And then the dog runs out at the end and it's over. That's it.
Yeah, I saw you bring your dog out. What's your dog's name?
Shaq.
Shaq?
Well, he's a Chihuahua.
Yeah, you should tour with Tom Green. You guys could bring your dogs.
Listen, when you're on the road and it's just you, you want him.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's like so cool though that you can bring your dog with you.
He's
Like
here.
that's
He's right
awesome.
here. Come
She's right
on, and he
there.
knows it, and he knows what I'm
Shaq,
doing, and he knew that
Tom.
he was coming on, so here he is.
He's ready
What
to
the
go
hell?
at
I'm
all times.
sleeping.
Did he
No,
freak out the first time you brought him on stage?
no, this
He
is
was
the
good.
thing. He's a Chihuahua, and he's scared of everything. But boy, does when I'm
Loves the
not around, he'll
attention.
just run to me. He just comes. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I
And you
love
see
that.
how calm he is for a
Yeah.
Chihuahua? This is unheard of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chihuahuas are usually nipping at your heels.
Wait till a squirrel runs by.
Yeah.
He's a murderer too. He kills this dog. Yeah, he kills mice and stuff. He really does.
Oh, really? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy. I remember I went to my parents live in like the country and their cats are just outdoor cats, which is unheard of now, I guess.
Oh, they're
People lose
hunters
their
for
mind
sure.
if their cat goes outside. And my
Oh, you
parents
mean
are
a house cat? Yeah, people don't
yeah.
let their cats out
People
anymore.
don't let their cats out anymore. They just let them out. There's like coyotes and stuff. They're just like, they'll be fine. Let them go. And the cats go outside, and we couldn't find the cat one day. We came over, and it was eating. It had killed, and it was eating like a raccoon or something.
Oh my
It
God.
was just eating a raccoon, and we're like, what the hell? How did it do that?
Every now and again, they remind you that they're animals,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. You gotta
Yeah.
be reminded, you're like, oh, this is a little lion.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I've
I
had,
told-
yeah, we've been in tons of stuff. I do a bit of my act, which actually happened. He just does, you got to keep an eye on your dog all the time, like, because you love him so much. But I overreact. I walked him and he had blood all over his paw when I came back, and I freaked out because I thought he stepped in glass.
Yeah.
And I
Turns out he
brought him
just
to the,
killed someone with his bare paws.
no, I brought him and the vet goes, yeah, he stepped on a red berry. Oh, jeez.
Oh, Christ.
No, man, it wasn't even blood, you moron.
The
It cost me 50
hypochondriac of a
bucks.
pet owner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My baby. Everything could possibly be wrong. Um, was there a bit that you retired that you wish you could still do, but like the world has changed so much. So not like an evergreen bit, but a bit that you're like, this bit used to kill, but now because of technology changing or something changing, you're like, I just can't do it anymore, or the reference is gone.
Yeah, that bit I used to do about the Leafs winning the cup.
Still relevant. Fuck, we came
No, I
close,
don't
eh? That
really.
was,
Yeah, I try not to. Yeah, I'm trying to think. If something is, I guess we were all born. We did all. It was a different time. We were much meaner, I guess. Comics, remember? It was.
yeah.
There was even like, there was
I mean, you
some
watch
of
a
the
movie from the early
insults
2000s and you cringe.
because of the insults, right?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
was crazy. It got really bad in the 90s. It was pretty bad. Like, you don't sit up front at a comedy club was what was people saying, because when you did, the comic would just cut the shit out of you. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of guys. And I remember guys that would go out, there wouldn't even be a joke there. I remember there was a guy with white hair sitting in the front row, this very old man, and the comic on stage just said, "Oh, you came out tonight, huh? You piece of shit." No joke.
Yeah.
Just called him a piece of shit.
Man paid for a ticket just to
And
get called a
yeah,
piece of shit.
you just call him a piece of shit with no joke. Wow,
That's
man.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's see, that's all that is like somewhat of, I mean, there's always a cost benefit ratio to everything that happens, right? So all these online clips, the newer comedians that are wanting to keep up are just posting like clips, crowd work clips, basically, because it's material, it's not material. They can sort of here's an advertisement of here's what I do on stage,
Right.
but come see the material. But it's like now people are almost trying to force crowd work. Like Brian O'Gorman was telling me that there was a comic that was like filming himself and he was newer and he like started his set on an amateur night by being like, "What do you guys want to talk about?" And he's like, "Tell a joke." He's like,
Wow.
"How about something you've prepared?" Like, you imagine the balls of doing an amateur night at Yuck Yucks and being trying to do crowd work with the 5 minutes that you have on stage?
Might
It's
want to
like,
do your best jokes so they want you to come back.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
It is a wild landscape right now to be a comedian.
But it's still, no rules,
But
so
there's
it's
still
an
no
interesting
rules.
time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. And like you're
everybody
a
does
perfect
his.
example of that. Mitch Hedberg is a perfect example of like you can teach comedy, I think, to a certain point, but the personality has to be there, you know? Like that creates itself. Like you can't
Yeah.
really teach someone to have a personality on stage.
No, I mean, and everybody's different, and you just want to hear the best jokes, really, honestly. That's what,
Yeah.
if you talk about the videos and the online stuff, people are just looking for stuff that makes them laugh.
Yeah.
So if you provide that to them, they're going to follow you. It's not that hard, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I
Truly,
can't
just
get anyone to follow me. Yeah, you can. Put your best videos out and do a couple of
yeah.
jokes, and you can.
And that's the hard part of reflecting. Like, I mean, the numbers are right there, right? So it's like you have to have a bit of like self-reflection of going like, is this the best stuff? It's not really getting much attention. Maybe I need to go back to the drawing board. And like before the internet, I think you were able to work through all of that in sort of obscurity. But now there's people like Kill Tony. I don't know if you've watched or heard of Kill Tony before,
Mhm.
where the comedians are newer and they go up and they do like 1 minute of jokes. And a lot of these guys are like, they've done comedy three, four times. And some of these Kill Tony shows are like in an arena. Like, could you imagine your fourth time on stage is at Madison Square Garden?
Well, that's what they do on,
It's
what's it called?
crazy.
The America's Got Talent.
Yeah, oh yeah, another
Same
good
crap.
example.
Taking amateurs and putting them in front of a giant audience.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that show used to have like a prize at the end of it, and now it's sort of just like you were on America's Got Talent. That's your prize.
Oh, I never knew that. They don't give you any money or nothing anymore?
I don't
Oh,
think
wow,
so.
that's just cheap, eh? I never
I,
knew that.
yeah,
Really?
I think they used to really advertise like winner gets $100,000, blah blah
Yeah,
blah.
I
And
thought so too.
now they don't really advertise like
Wow.
if you notice, they don't really advertise as much like here's how much money the winner gets. It's sort of just like they get to say that they're the winner. I'm sure they get something because it's got to be SAG-AFTRA rules. If you're on TV and you're being filmed, there's got to be some
Yeah,
union that's involved.
it's $1,000, just so
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
You
what
get a
it is.
daily.
Yeah. It's like being on, yeah, it's like being on, it's like being on, like a talk show. It's
Just
a
like
grand.
doing
It's like
extras work.
1,100, I think. I think it is. It's really
Yeah,
low.
yeah, you got $15 an hour. Um, uh,
Yeah, they figure it at a low rate.
yeah. You wrote
That's when
for
you realize the unions aren't on your side at all. At
yeah,
all.
no, 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 no. Until they want their fees, and then they're all over
Of
you.
course, got to pay.
Got to pay a fee. Everything becomes at some point. Everything just becomes like a mob. It's the mafia at some point. The government's a type of
Yeah.
mafia. The
Oh, it
unions are a
is.
type of
Don't even.
mafia.
You see, you're like me. I say, how is property tax something like not something the mob would try on you?
Oh yeah,
That's a
yeah, yeah.
garbage.
Okay, how about this? The money you make, we're gonna tax that, and then the thing you want to buy, we're gonna tax it.
Exactly. We're
And
the
then
same
if you
guy.
want a fancy car, you're gonna pay luxury tax.
Luxury tax.
And then you're gonna pay tax on the luxury tax.
Luxury tax.
Fuck off with your
Luxury.
luxury tax.
Luxury tax. Because you
For
have
working
made
your ass
more
off to make a
money
lot of
than
money.
most, we're
Yeah.
gonna take it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay.
It's that communist redistribution system that's worked out so well for so many people.
Look at how happy the world is. Keep it up.
Oh, I think Colombia is doing great right now. Oh my God.
Yeah, two
So
comics, not
funny.
happy. There you go.
No.
Miserable. There's my word.
Miserable. Yeah, yeah, I was just trying to do a miserable podcast. Another cool thing is you wrote for the Jon Stewart show.
I did.
Yeah, like what was that like kind of shifting to a more, very political humor, writing for it was a daily show, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had fun. Attell was a writer on that show.
Oh, that's
Me,
cool.
Hertz, Hart. There were some good guys on that show. We were left alone because it was a syndicated show that was on at like 1 o'clock in the morning. So they let us do anything. We had a lot of
Yeah.
fun on that. You
I
know what
used
I
to
like doing? I
die
like the
laughing
acting.
watching that show.
That's where I learned how to be a really good comedy actor on that because I got to be in the sketches and I was decent and the guys would
Oh,
cast me because the writers would cast me in the bits. So that was a lot of fun.
interesting.
You know,
Do
New
you
York,
do
New
you
York was kind of weird, and I had to live there for 2 years, and it smelled like pee everywhere you went. Ugh, Jesus,
pee
it was
and garbage?
disgusting. I much prefer California.
Are you sure you just weren't in Brooklyn?
I don't remember. I remember walking to work one day because I just didn't want to sit in the cab. I didn't trust the cab driver, so I got.
Oh, I didn't trust the cab
I
driver
didn't
as
trust
a
him at
funny.
all. He looked like a thug.
Oh. That's so funny.
Yeah,
But yeah,
true.
like
You know what we used to do in New York? Me and my buddy Brian we used to count the seconds between hearing a car honk, and we got up to three
oh
once.
wow.
You hear them all the time, man.
Oh
Uh,
man. Well, now they have this like they have this new thing where people have to pay like a fee if they're in a certain area for an extended amount of time. So it's really like fucked up the traffic downtown New York. They installed all of these new like what are they called? Like loitering type fee where you can't be like stopped at a certain area, otherwise you'll get fined. And so
oh, they don't
all of
want the
these
cars to just be
just
because there's no
congested
room,
in the
man.
area. There's nowhere
There's
to
no
go. Yeah,
room.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
problem.
They want
You know
everybody
what the
like to be on a
problem is in New York
bicycle.
City? I'll tell you what the problem is downtown. The delivery trucks are just parked in the middle of the street all day long. That's what it is, and you can't get around them. And they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
leave it in the middle of the street, and then if you honk at them, they just do that right away and walk in.
I
That's it.
mean, if I had to be a delivery truck driver in the middle of New York City, I'd be flipping everybody off. Can you imagine trying
Yeah,
to
that's
get
what they
that
do.
big ass truck? You're like, I'm just trying to deliver the bread, man.
It's like that.
Just pissed
Everyone
off.
honking at him. Get out of
Yeah.
the way.
Can't move it. It's 20 feet long. Where do you want
Uh,
me to go?
New
Just a
Yorkers are
windowless
different.
van.
New Yorkers are different. They scream at you in New
Yeah.
York. In California, they shoot at you. It's different.
Throw a brick at your head. Oh, Christ, that's so funny. Jeremy, there's one question that I always ask all my guests, and it's essentially like, what advice would you give to your younger self? But I want you to think of like you at 15 years old.
Yeah.
Because it's such like a pivotal time, I feel like, in your life. You know, you're partway through high school, you're starting to think about like what you want to do with your life. You know, you're not fully an adult yet, but you're not a kid. You're in this weird kind of limbo phase. If you could talk to your 15-year-old self, like let's say the phone rings and it's you now on the other end, it's not going to impact your life at all. Your decisions have already been made and that life is set. But
Yeah.
you could say something to your younger self. What would you say?
I think we should get into porn.
We've got this great last name that would be killer for
Yeah,
porn.
that'd be huge. I don't know. I think that everything kind of, for me, it just, I don't know how it worked for you, but comedy just, I went on and I did really well quite early on. And then Breslin said, "Did you want to do this professionally?"
Wow.
And I said, "Oh, you can do that?"
What a way to answer the question.
And then I started taking the bus from Ottawa to Toronto to do the Yuck Yucks, and then the bus station was halfway up Bay Street. And then I walked
Wow.
down the street, and then I went to the club, did the show, got back, walked back to the bus station, got on the bus, and drove back to Ottawa with the bus driver.
Man,
Yeah,
that sounds like me early on. I grew up in Brockville.
it's what you do when
So
you're a kid, right?
I would drive 4 hours for
Yeah,
a 5 minute spot, drive back. I wasn't gonna
yeah,
stay the night, just drive back.
yeah. It's
But
what
you're
you
just
do.
so excited to get on stage, and there was so
Yeah,
much time on stage that it was
yeah.
like, just wanted it.
Was it dangerous for you? Because, like, you remember when I started, comedy was really kind of new and it was going into those bars and stuff. And some of the places that
Oh,
they sent us were pretty suspect. And
yeah.
you look back and you go, I was kind of lucky to get out of that alive. But when you were younger, you had no clue. Yeah, it didn't seem like it was that
Yeah.
horrible, but it was.
No, but it was looking back on it, like I was explicitly remember, I don't even think the bar is there anymore, but there was
Mm.
a bar on College Street near Kensington Market. And I was there waiting for like an open mic, and the guy was like, "Geez, I can't believe this place is still open." And I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Because there's no clientele." He goes, "No, somebody got shot like last week right over there." I was like,
Somebody
"Holy
got
shit!"
shot.
Died. Some guy got murdered like 5 feet away from where the open mic was happening. And I was
That's
like, "Do you think
insane.
that could happen again?" He goes, "Ah, 2 weeks in a row." What are the
Somebody got
odds of it
knifed,
happening
eh?
2 weeks in
Or
a row?
something. Wow. Or was it shot?
Huh?
Was it shot or knifed? What was
No
it?
shot. Like this guy just
Wow.
came in and just blasted a guy that was just
What the?
in the bar. You're just like, holy crap. But then it makes you realize you're like, oh yeah, I guess this area, like I think Kensington Market at one point was like the fifth most shot up area in like Canada.
Yeah, yeah. But
It
I'm
was like
talking like I went to
really
like
bad.
North Battleford, Saskatchewan. That was rough. Like there's been
Wow.
some places that I've been to that were, and I'm talking about rough. I don't know if it's cleaned up now or
Right.
anything, but like in the when we went in the 80s, it wasn't the greatest place to be.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and
God.
things could, they'd have pool tables in there, and they'd play pool like sometimes when you were on stage, and they just did that ever happen to you?
Oh yeah, pool, a game being turned on.
Oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
The ice machine is I hate that fucking. If I can, I have so many recordings where in the background I just hear the bartender going,
Isn't that funny,
fuck,
eh?
fuck off. I want to strangle him.
I'm gonna make you laugh now because you know what? When you get to theaters, that
Yeah.
doesn't exist.
Of course, you got to come back to the
I
clubs.
haven't thought of that in years, and you said it, and I was like, "What? Huh?" And then, oh yeah,
The bar is right there. You know what I mean? Like it's like right there from the stage. You could see people getting up. That's the worst. Like in a theater, someone could get up in the front row. They're not going to interrupt the show. They just, they scoot out. Not really, right? They can scoot. The stage is raised, whatever. But if you're at a
they
Yuck
they
Yuck
try to
show,
duck and then go, and then yeah,
yeah,
they
yeah,
do,
yeah.
they
They don't want
do.
to. They don't want to block the stage from the person behind them. But like at a club, if someone gets up in the front row, they're fully blocking you on
Oh,
stage.
I've seen people to get from one side of the room to the other, just walk across the stage while the guy's
Oh
on.
yeah, that's
Seen that
psychotic.
happen. I've seen
I,
it happen.
I've had somebody put their feet on the stage.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
they just, they lean back and put their feet on the stage. I just kick their feet off the stage.
This is you just kick them
Nope,
off.
don't do that. There was a last couple weeks ago, I did absolute comedy, and as soon as I got on stage, I hear talking to the right of me. So I turn to the right to address it, and there's a man on the phone having a full-on conversation in the
Right, nice.
front row of a comedy show. Yeah, yeah, I know. We're at the show right now. Yeah, I know. There's a guy on stage. Yeah, we'll be there. We'll meet you guys after. What was that? What? Yeah. No,
No,
no. No, the other girl's cousin. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
that was
I just
that's incredibly disrespectful.
I wanted to reach and grab his phone and just whip it across the room.
Absolutely.
Say fetch,
Absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
absolute animal. Yeah,
Where
so it
was
was
that at?
absolute comedy. It's
Yeah, well, they might
out in
want to police
Preston.
their room a little better, to be honest with you.
It was a Wednesday night.
Oh,
You're just happy there's people there, Jeremy.
oh, really? Is that
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in the summer, you're competing with patio season.
patio season?
Patio season brings everybody outside and takes them away from. I'm happy the Leafs lost because then there's going to be actual people at the shows.
Oh,
Anytime
when
the
oh that yeah, I remember that. I remember when the Leafs used to do well. In the playoffs, the clubs were kind of empty, but it didn't happen very much. So who cares?
2019 summer of 2019, when the Raptors were in the playoffs, the Toronto
Nobody at the club.
Raptors, there was
Yeah,
nobody at any comedy show.
yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh my God. I remember I was running a comedy show and I showed up like an hour early to set up everything. And I was like setting up the stands and everything. And I was like, hey, where's the owner? Because I just wanted to check in with him. And he's like, oh, he's not here right now. And he wanted me to let you know that there's no show tonight because they're putting the game on. I was like, oh, cool. I'll just cancel everyone's tickets that's paid for the show and refund everybody and call all the comics that are on their way here right now an hour before showtime and tell them there's
Told you
no
that
show.
an hour before, eh? Wow.
Fucking yeah, the
Wow,
comedy
man.
industry is ruthless. Like
Yeah, it can be brutal,
you have to just take your lumps,
at the low levels. Yeah, you do, unfortunately,
I mean, it's just all about paying your dues, right? Like I've barked to get people in on shows to get a spot on the show. Like you kind of gotta do what you gotta do. What advice would you give to somebody like starting out in comedy? Obviously, it's a different landscape now, but do you have any like thing? I'm sure people ask you that question all the time. Like, do you have any advice
Yeah,
for?
go on as much as you possibly can.
That's what I
The only way
thought.
to get better at stand-up is to do it. So,
Yeah,
you can't do it at home. You know,
it's just true.
you can't. So you got to
It's
go
just-
on as much as you can. And you got to try to wiggle your ass in there every time you can. And
yeah,
then they'll come looking for you, and then you don't have to do that anymore.
right.
That's the good thing about it. It's not for the whole thing, eh?
Did
At the
you
beginning,
find?
you got to work you got to, scrape your way up.
Right. Because
Got
I'm
to
sure
do
you
it.
started in open mics, right? Like everybody
I
else. You
did
started.
one. I got lucky.
Oh, wow.
Breslin was in the back, and he said, "Did you?" That was the first time.
Wow, that's
I
incredible.
got lucky.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, you have the skill, obviously, that like
Oh, I was
matched
still
up with
shit for
that.
a couple
But
of years after that.
yeah,
Oh
how did
yeah.
you develop in that sort of like pressure cooker environment where
Ah,
now you're being told like you're a professional, you're going to do this now?
but you still had to do amateur night.
For
I
sure.
still did it, you
Yeah.
know. And those were the best sets that you had were on amateur.
Mm.
And then the regular nights were very hard in comparison.
That's what I always hear from professional comics is they're always like the amateur nights were the best because that's when nothing really mattered.
No,
Like you
didn't.
could just do and say whether you could do a character, you could do a different character that night
Yep.
if you wanted to. It didn't matter. You were just
People
trying
had
stuff
very
out.
low expectations.
Yeah.
So it was okay. Then comes Tuesday night. They had very high expectations. I don't understand.
Oh.
Tuesday. You
Just
know what I
depends
mean?
on the night.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But I went through a time in the 90s when Yuck Yucks was like killing it and like every night was packed, eh? I
wow.
I came out of the uptown Yuck Yucks mostly, not the downtown. That was the uptown one on Young and Eglinton. That's where I came out of.
That was after the one in the like YMCA basement, right? Didn't he put
Yeah,
on a
they
bunch?
were they're way after. I never even saw
Okay, okay, all
that
right.
place. Yeah, I wasn't around for that.
Uh,
The
I
Larry
had Breslin on
Horowitz
and he was
room.
talking about that.
Who?
I had Mark Breslin on the podcast and he was telling me
Yeah.
about all about the funniest thing that I asked him about
It was
though,
in a
which
church basement, right?
yes, that's what it
Yeah.
was. It was in a
Yeah.
church basement.
He's
The
told me about it too.
the best thing though was when comedians were on his ass about paying them more, and he was like, "They're not coming to see you. They're coming to the club." And they're like, "Yeah, right, whatever, whatever." And he goes, "Yeah, I'll prove it to you." And he went to the cemetery and he wrote down names on the headstones and he put them on the marquee, and it was packed club.
Breslin, why would you fucking
What a fucking
what
guy.
the why would you do that? Oh God.
Just to prove a point. That's so
That's really
funny.
funny.
Oh my
He actually
God.
went to the graveyard
Yeah, he
and he
went
wrote
to a
down,
graveyard and wrote down like six names
see,
and
he's
put it in the
demented.
paper.
That proves Mark's demented. Who does that?
He like
Good
had that on
God.
his to-do list. Okay, I gotta go get groceries, pick up the kid from school, write down a bunch of dead guy names.
Yeah, from the graveyard? Because they have to be authentic.
Yeah, they have to be real names. You couldn't have just made up names, you know?
That's what you do.
That's what
And
makes the
say, I
joke
went to the
funnier.
graveyard and I got these.
Yeah. They're dead for sure.
Yeah. Who's going to check it? They're
Sold out
comics. I'm not going to
club.
fact check it. Come
Could
on.
you imagine though if like you went to that show and your grandfather's name was up on the marquee and you're
Oh,
like,
that's
what the
hilarious.
hell?
You think he actually went? It's only funny if he went on stage and said what he did,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think he did.
I don't
So
think he did. I think
that's
he
the
kept
joke.
that as an anecdote. Those are
Yeah,
the best jokes, the ones that don't really like you don't find out about them until like years later.
yeah.
Like they're
I used to
who
work. He used to work with us. He was an MC on the show, and I was a comic. And he would go on stage, and I worked with Breslin on many occasions where he was the
wow.
host.
Oh
You never
wow.
got to do that
Yeah,
because he
yeah.
doesn't do stand up anymore, and everyone's pretty pleased about that.
I mean, that is tough, like being a comedian that owns a comedy club and does time on the show.
Dangerfield, I think, is the only one that ever really became famous. I
Yeah.
think, yeah, it's the most in. You can't be a businessman and a no, I guess not,
No.
huh?
They don't even mix. I mean, I think even Joe Rogan, who opened the Mothership Comedy Club in Austin, like he has a talent coordinator. He hired like Adam Egget from the Comedy Store to like oversee all of the talent coordination because he's like, I just want to come into my own club that I paid for and everything and just get up and do spots here and there, but I want somebody else to be like managing it the day to day. I don't want to be
He's not going to
seen as
run
like the owner of the
the comedy
club.
club owner,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But you're like he is. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, he is, but he's got too much to do on his podcast, I think, right?
yeah.
I
That's
don't think he has time to run a
guys, I
club.
don't know how he organizes his day. Elon Musk is another person where I'm like, what does this guy's day to day look like? He's got like
I don't.
six different companies. He's got
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
12 kids.
He does
And
have a
so,
lot of
he
kids.
has a lot of kids. And
Yeah.
then somehow he finds time to play video games. Like I don't
He
understand.
does seem to, yeah, maybe there's three of them. I don't know. But
Yeah,
some
that
people
could
are,
be it.
he might be autistic and
Uh,
then they just can't, they are driven,
yeah.
you can't, yeah, if you want to go somewhere, autism. Telling you, try it.
It's
Boom.
the best. Try
It
it.
is, well, it does have its benefits.
Check with your doctor today. Uh, I'm
Do you think
gonna.
comics are lazy
Do I think comics are lazy?
as a general rule?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
I
Me
think
too.
I think anyone who says that I'm not lazy, that you're lying. Because like if you just think about what comedy is, you're like, I don't want a regular job. I just want to get on a stage once a night for an hour, and that's it. That's all the work I do. Like trying to get a comedian to write is like probably like
Yeah,
pulling teeth. Like
it's
it's the
true.
hardest thing to
True.
get a comedian to sit down behind a computer and write.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're on Ritalin or on Adderall or something, you
See,
can
that's what I'm
zero in,
saying.
you know?
All that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
helps you in the end. If you stay up on those stay up pills, you can write. I just don't think that writing is that,
Have you
writing.
have you seen Hunter S. Thompson's like schedule?
No, is it crazy?
Oh my God, let me find it because it's the funniest thing because he ends it with Hunter S. Thompson is ready to write, and you're like, I guess that just seems like a bunch of procrastination. So apparently, this schedule, there was a guy, like a journalist,
Yeah.
that was working with him. That was like they were writing a story on him, and he was like he was writing down, following him throughout the day, and had Hunter kind of like keep an eye on his on what he was doing every single day. Here, I'll share it here for people watching on YouTube, and then I'll narrate for people listening.
Hey, look at you sharing the thing there. Oh, it looks like it was written in a
Yeah,
newspaper.
so yeah, this was written by a journalist and printed in the newspaper.
Well, then you have to tell the kids what a newspaper is.
It used to be this thing that you would get in the
Yeah.
mail. So
And a
3
kid would
p.m.,
bring it.
he'd wake up at 3 p.m. At 3:05, he'd have a nice glass of Chivas Regal. So that's
Oh,
probably, was that whiskey?
he gets drunk right away, is what it
Gets
is.
drunk as soon as he wakes up.
I
Drunk,
don't know what it
reads
is. It's an alcoholic beverage that an old man drinks.
yeah,
Chivas Regal.
Chivas.
Yeah,
Chivas Regal. I always called
yeah.
it Chivas. I made it fancy. Then
I
he had a
don't even know
cigarette.
if you can still get it, can? Oh, you must. Yeah, it's
Maybe.
good Lord, no. I don't know what it's made
Dunhill is
out
a
of. Chivas
cigarette.
Regal.
So 45 minutes after waking up, he's already taken cocaine.
Yeah,
He has another glass of, we'll just call it whiskey, another cigarette, first cup of coffees at 4:05. Does cocaine again, orange juice, another cigarette, cocaine, 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 coffee, Dunhills, more ice in the Chivas,
that's sad.
cocaine, weed to take the edge off.
That's sad.
Grass to take the
He's
edge
just
off.
drugged out, eh?
And
Wow.
then
Wow.
we're at 8 p.m. cocaine, 10 p.m. he drops acid,
Oh,
11 p.m. chartreuse, cocaine, weed, 11:30
chartreuse?
cocaine. What is that?
I'm not
Chartreuse?
sure.
I don't know. We gotta look that up.
I don't know what that is.
What is chartreuse?
I thought it was a color. I have no
Oh,
idea. Now we're
it's
gonna look at it.
liquor. Green liquor. It's a French herbal liquor.
Oh God.
And
That's
then
just
at
wild.
midnight, Hunter ready to write.
And then he stops at what time writing?
8 a.m. Halcyon. He takes Halcyon, so that's probably like a sleeping pill or something.
And then he goes to
He-
sleep.
oh, and also at 6 a.m., he eats fettuccine Alfredo right before bed.
Oh,
I'm
dude.
like going to sleep with a little bit of fettuccine Alfredo in your stomach.
With the white sauce clogging your arteries.
Yeah.
Good job,
It's no
Hunter
time
S.
to digest. We really knew nothing about the health and body during that period of time, eh?
I
Just
think, I don't know. I
the
don't think
doctor was
he
probably like, the
really,
cigarettes are keeping the weight off, so keep doing those.
I think Thompson was mailing his life in. I don't think he really cared anymore. And I think the S stood for shit.
I think
I think,
he was driving that motorcycle until the wheels fell off.
wow. Wow.
Oh yeah, there was I just reminded myself as I was browsing here, but is this true? Like in 2015, you were sitting on a plane and there was somebody obnoxiously loud sitting beside you laughing, and you were gonna say something, and then you looked over and they were watching your comedy?
That's the truth. Yeah,
Okay,
my comedy was on the thing because it was a
that's
clip from me at
crazy.
Just for Laughs, and then she recognized who I was, and it was even worse. That was the worst flight of my life.
No.
Oh God.
So
Oh
you were
yeah, that was
like
Air
annoyed by
Canada.
this person.
Shit, I remember that. Who? Oh frig, you heard that, eh?
It's on your
Yeah,
IMDb. It's a fun fact on your
it's the
IMDb.
truth. And also another one was it happened to be on a plane. This is hysterical. This the scaredest I've ever been. So I get on a plane, right? And it's remember the movie San Andreas with The Rock?
Yes, yeah.
So it's the worst thing I've ever seen. So I'm watching it on the thing, and I'm loud, and I'm going, "This is garbage." And then the stewardess comes over and goes, "Sir, you got to keep it down. People are complaining." And I went, "Oh, sorry, it's just this movie's so bad." She goes, "I understand, but
Yeah.
please." And then I, for some reason, did it again. And she came back and went, "I told you once, people are complaining. And who could possibly like this movie? Everybody hates it. Nobody's complaining." And then I look up front and the curtain moves and it's The Rock putting his face out, looking through like that.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Did
And
he
then
force everyone
when
to?
the plane landed, I was scared to get off. So I waited for everyone to get off because I thought he was going to beat the shit out of me.
Wait, did he have like a special screening on this plane?
No, he just happened to be on the plane. It was just incredibly bad luck for me. And that's what happens.
You're
That's
like,
when you
Dwayne
go,
Johnson isn't even good in this role. And he's like sitting over there going, fuck, I need the
it was
money.
like that. Losing scenes to a fat kid. I was doing things like that. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
I didn't know. Oh,
Oh.
gee, eh? That's what happens. That's why I don't have to write that much because horrible things happen to me. And then I just go and tell them on
If you
stage.
look hard enough, horrible things happen all the time to you,
It's
every day.
true.
You don't need to
It's
write
true.
them. Life is miserable enough.
It is terrible, actually. You know?
I'm gonna share your website here for people to go check you out, all your
Ah, that's
shows.
me. See, there it is.
JeremyHotz.com. Um,
Oh, they
just
should
Jeremy
follow me on
Hotz.
Instagram. That's taken
Yeah.
off. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing there.
215,000 followers. You're
It's
killing it.
amazing, right?
Do you
Because I'm
have someone
old.
that's do you pay someone that's doing your clips here? Because they have like nice clips.
That's how everything changed. Not.
Yeah.
No, listen to me.
Okay.
Not paying them. I learned how to do it myself.
Oh, good for you, man.
Because who knows my act better than me? Who
Yeah.
knows your act better than you? Who
Yeah.
knows what your best clips are better than you?
Oh my God.
Nobody.
I'm so grateful that I took the time to learn video editing.
Cap, are you on the cap cut
No,
thing?
I use there's a program called Opus Pro.
Okay, I don't know that program. Is it
You'll
better than because CapCut has it's tremendously garbage.
trust
Okay,
me,
it's
this
like
is incredible. You could take your whole, let's say you take your whole special. What's one of your specials that you want to plug?
it doesn't matter. Oh, okay, dangerously handsome.
Dangerously Handsome. So you take Dangerously Handsome, the whole hour, and you put that, the file, or even just the link if it's on YouTube, put that into Opus Pro. It
Yeah,
will then create 25 clips, all captioned, all ranked based on what they think will be viral for you.
interesting.
And then you can go
Amazing.
through the AI, you can go through, some of
And
them are
pick
bullshit,
your
and you
pick
can
your clip.
edit it and pick and choose and whatever, and then
Okay.
download and use whatever you want.
There's nothing, you know what? You know why I would never do that? Because on these platforms like Instagram and
Yeah.
Facebook and TikTok, there's nothing more gratifying than choosing the bit yourself
Yeah.
and then having it go viral.
Well,
That's a
yeah,
win
yeah,
for me.
yeah.
So I don't think I'd give that up to a computer. And I've already read their AI descriptions of what's going on my page, and I'm not impressed at all. At
Yeah, the
all.
AI is a little slow. Everyone's worried about it taking over. I'm like,
I don't think
it
so,
was made by
man.
humans. It's not going anywhere. Don't
Not
worry
going
about it.
anywhere, and AI is just not funny.
It no, it sucks. Oh my
No,
God.
it's
It's like
not
it
funny.
feels like early comedians.
Joke book day jokes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you can
It's
go to
like
the
you
book.
ask your AI like tell me a joke and it's like why did the scarecrow win an
Yeah,
award? It
yeah.
was outstanding in its field. And you're like fuck off.
Oh, that's a guy that heard the term outstanding in a field and then just wrote the joke in reverse. It's
Yeah,
the easiest form of humor.
it's the
You know
best.
it is.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It's lazy hack. AI's hack. We'll just say that.
You know what nobody says about that joke? Clever. Nobody.
Say anything, they don't even laugh.
Of course not.
Oh my God.
You know what I
That's
never found funny was the in Gum they had the comics with the kid with the sweater over his face. What was that called
I
again?
don't remember, but
Bazooka
Bazooka Comics,
Joe.
Bazooka Joe
That's
Comics,
right. Those were never that the joke there. What you?
uh,
I
or
think there was a second
Marmaduke.
page that they didn't include. There was no joke there ever.
Yeah, I never laughed at a Marmaduke cartoon or a.
Oh, the giant dog. I forgot all about him. I never laughed at the one about the family with the feet that they put all across the yard and stuff like that,
Yeah,
whatever that was called.
my God.
Family Circle or something
Yeah,
like this. I
garbage.
never laughed at that, you know? And then I used to see that in the paper when I was doing stand up going, if this is what people think is funny, I'm screwed because I don't even
Yes.
get this. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I feel sometimes too when I see like a viral clip and I'm just like, what? Like
Yeah.
when it's not a stand-up bit, when it's just like somebody doing something and
I'm
everybody's like
shocked by
dying
that.
laughing, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah. Yeah. I don't get it
I'm
either.
like, what do you even do with this? A lot of these people are just regular people. You're gonna go back to your job at Target after you had 10 million views on a clip of you tripping going up the stairs. It's like, what a weird life that is. What a
I think
weird
it's
life.
fantastic.
That's fucking crazy. People have these like weird, like when now when someone says, "Tell me a fun fact about yourself," you're like, "I ate a Tide Pod once for a challenge." It's like,
That's dangerous, apparently, right?
apparently, yeah, apparently
Yeah,
the
you don't
fun
even have to.
colors aren't
Who would look it
edible.
up? Who would spend the time to look that up and go, is that dangerous or not? Not knowing by looking at it, that's probably dangerous. Who's
Yeah.
that stupid? My God.
Not inherently knowing not to eat a Tide Pod, needing
Even
to
people,
read the warning on the side of a box.
it started with the ice bucket thing, and people had a heart attack. You know that, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like even
yeah.
that was bad. So I
Oh
wouldn't,
yeah.
you know, you
And it
know.
all started for a good cause. Like everybody was like, well, fuck. It's like I have a comparison to it that's perfect, but like it was for raising awareness for ALS because when you have ALS, you lose like, your muscular
Yeah,
function and it
yeah,
feels if you dumped cold water on yourself, you can feel that for like a brief moment, but it's nothing the same.
right.
It's kind of a mockery in a way. Like it's like just donate or raise awareness. You don't need to be like, I feel your pain and now I nominate da 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 da. Da. It's
That
kind
is
of
a little crazy,
bullshit. Like,
right?
did you ever watch Full House?
Yes,
Okay, I
yes.
think it's
Well, I
Dave
knew him. I knew.
Coulier. You know,
Yeah,
you know,
I
Da
knew Dave, and well, Dave's still alive, but you know what happened there.
yeah, he has cancer, right? So he's going through chemo and he's bald. But did you see what's his fucking name? John Stamos?
Yeah, John Stamos was on that show too.
But did you see what he did? Where it's like to show support for his friend Dave having like cancer, he put on like a bald cap and came to visit him.
People do that.
I was like, what are you doing? If I was going through chemotherapy, I'd be like, don't shave your head. Don't even like, don't put on a bald cap because I'm going through
Oh,
something
wait
and
a
you
second.
want to.
He didn't. No, you're supposed to. You don't put on
No, he put on
You
a
mean the
bald cap. He wasn't going to
skinhead
shave his.
wig? He put
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
skinhead wig, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Oh, dude, don't do that.
I
No, you
need
got
to
to shave your
find.
head, and then, or else that's the sacrifice you make for your friend to shaving your head. Not being
Yes,
a
that's
skinhead
the
wig. You just
proper thing to
take it
do.
off.
But instead, he did this.
Oh, this is actually fun. That's funny. Actually, it's a skinhead wig. That's actually funny. You know.
I just couldn't believe it. I was like, what?
Uh,
Uh,
I've met both those guys. What a shame.
wow.
Shame. And then, yeah, because I've been here for 20 some odd years, so I have met a lot of people.
Yeah. Where are you based out of now?
I live in Los Angeles
Oh,
and
nice.
live in West Hollywood.
Okay. You
Near.
enjoying the riots or?
Yeah, I like I mean, I came to Vancouver because it's my mom's birthday, so I'm not seeing the
Oh,
riots right
okay,
now.
nice. You got out of town for riot
But
season.
I did go up to watch the gay parade on, I think, a couple of Sundays ago, and it was all "fuck Trump" signs, all
Oh,
of it.
wow.
He's really, really unpopular where I live,
Yeah.
incredibly, like the most in the world, probably. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty amazing the amount of people that hate him and he
Uh,
still got elected. You're like,
Despise
what?
him, though. It's like when they hate him,
Crazy.
it's another kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think if you wore a Trump shirt in West Hollywood, someone would rip it off you.
Oh,
I
I'm sure.
I think that would
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there've been stories of people just wearing a red hat and getting punched in the head, and it's not even a
Oh,
MAGA hat. It's just a
thinking
red
it's one
hat.
of the
Yeah,
MAGA
yeah, yeah.
hats. Yeah,
Yeah. You
okay.
can't even wear a red hat there
Were
anymore.
they all red? Were they red?
They're
All
all
of them?
red. Yeah, they're
It
like this
wasn't the
bright,
insignia? Oh,
obnoxious
okay.
red. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I never knew that because I obviously don't follow him.
Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
whatever.
But
Yeah,
I knew a comic that purposely went, a guy that started when I did back in the day, that purposely went to one of his rallies and then caused a fuss to get kicked out so he could get the video and put it online. Yeah, he did that. Johansson did that.
oh, that's
Yeah.
hilarious. Good
Yeah.
for him. That's so
Yeah, it's
funny.
great, eh?
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love a
And he
little bit
walked
of
out like this with
ruckus.
his two fingers up as they were taking him out. Yeah, yeah, it was fantastic.
Nice. Yeah. He's
Yeah.
like, you got that on video? It was probably on Fox News that night.
Oh, I think that was that's probably the most viral video he ever had because he goes, "I'm the guy, and now I got the
Yeah.
tape, and I did it for this. I just did it for this." It's fantastic.
You plebs.
They just kick you out. They don't send you to jail. They can't. That's what
Yeah,
he was
that's
doing.
so funny. Yeah, yeah, you can't
Yep.
go to jail for just being like misbehaving at a
You're allowed
show.
to say what you want, man. It's freedom of
Yeah.
speech,
Oh, isn't that the best?
Yep.
Oh
Yep.
man. Well, Jeremy, it was a pleasure chatting with you, man. It was really cool to meet you, and I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you got your mom's birthday that you got
Oh,
to
it's
go
great.
celebrate with her
It's a,
now, but
and yeah, it's good for my mom, and the whole family's happy about it, and it
love
all worked
that.
out. And good luck to you. And
Thank you.
I hope you keep doing the show so Canadians can and Americans and North Americans can watch what goes on in Canada because boy, they don't have a show, do they?
And they're missing out on some great comedians, man. There's so
Oh,
many talented comedians here. It's
yeah,
crazy. And I
yeah,
just
there
want to
are.
do that. I just want to get as many Canadian comics on as I can and just really put have something so that when you search for a person's name that like at least this conversation comes up, you know? There's
And
something
where are
online
you?
for
Are you in
them.
your house in your basement?
Yeah, this is my second bedroom in my apartment.
How come it has a brick wall, or is that fake?
That's
Is that
fake. Yeah, I
fake?
just created like a podcast set in this
Did you
office.
make it yourself, the
Yeah,
set?
yeah, yeah.
You see, that's why I edit my videos.
Yeah, I
I
do it all myself.
honestly really want to have that feel. And even though my manager goes, "You're crazy," because I get the phone calls and you're like, "This fucking program is shit and it doesn't work." And I'm like, "Yeah, but then it goes viral and we're all happy." And he goes, "Yeah,
Yeah.
but I'm tired of taking that phone call." That's what he said to me. And then I said to him, "Wait a minute, it's called
Yeah.
personal management." And I
Yeah,
hung up.
yeah, yeah. You're here to be my therapist, you fuck. Well, yeah, I mean, you can always reach out to me and give me a call if you're having trouble with Adobe Premiere or something.
Well, I do have trouble with that, but it's really you can tell me about that. I'd like the name of the program for editing video because I
Yeah.
will explore that because
Yeah, just look at it. And like I said, you don't need to take the recommendations. The cool thing is that
it might find
it
something that you miss.
it gives you the script though of the set because it's captioning all of your words, right? So you
Mm.
can easily find a bit. Like if you have a bit in mind of like this is how the bit starts, you can just control F and search for the bit and you can find it and then you can clip it. It just makes everything faster and more seamless and
You just said something very
yeah,
important when it comes to video, like finding stuff faster
that's it.
expedites the process
Right.
immensely.
Immensely.
Yeah, it
Just to
could.
be able to
People don't
find
know.
it
A
quickly.
1 minute clip can take you 2 or 3 days.
Oh, I
Just
used to
get
edit
perfect.
word by
Absolutely.
word by myself, like type out each word that I said in my clip.
Yeah.
And that would take me hours to just
Yeah.
line up the text or whatever. So it's this is so much better. I'll send you the link for sure.
Okay.
All right, man. Have a good rest of
Thanks.
your day. I'll send you this link whenever I get it up. It'll be like in July probably.
Okay, man. Have a good week. Nice talking to you.
All right, good talking to you too. See ya.
See ya.